What is good? It's Salim Mohammed Tarfa, the Physicage on the Physi Speaks, back again with another episode. And on this episode, for the first time ever, I'm Simeon Sodo on the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
It's my pleasure. Feel honored.
Yeah, his voice is almost as buff as he is. Simeon is a
lawyer. Yep. I have a Christian book club called Believers Book Club.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's just something I do on WhatsApp. It's a chat discussion. So we just read books and discuss once every week. So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That on the side.
Very cool. So, fun fact, yes, Mr. Simeon actually hooked me up with invites to the concert I was in with Limo Blaze. That was really awesome. Like one of my best experiences of 2023. So I owe you that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was really fire.
That concert was just something else.
It was dope.
Something.
Getting into this week's episode, we'll be discussing To Be a Man on the Adulting series. Surviving in a world that is evolving to destroy you, in a sense, especially as men. You know, the social media, there's the TV, you have some experience. We're talking about something that happened the other evening. You are closing up for the year. This is a bit personal, closing up for the year. Things are coming to a stop. You happen to work in one of these wonderful places where they give you guys rice and stuff, which is very important, by the way. If you're working somewhere they don't give you rice and stuff, don't work there. These are some of the things you think about. You know, because it's important. So what happened that evening?
So it was a crazy day. Different things, everything just seemed to be going off on that particular day. Right. So I'm a lawyer, so I went to the magistrate court to file a couple of documents. I didn't spend up to 20 minutes in the magistrate court. I just parked. You can imagine the irony that I parked outside a magistrate court. By the time I came out, I noticed that my back door was open, right? So, but I don't know why, I didn't think too much of it. When I looked inside my car, everything seemed in place. So I just assumed maybe I didn't remember to lock the back door because I was in a hurry. And I just drove off. I went to the office. Not until in the evening when I opened my trunk and I realized all my end of year package had been stolen. So they gave us in my office shared 25 kg bag of rice,
all the goodies basically,
tin tomatoes, cornflakes, a couple of
cornflakes,
like milk, Milo.
Please, a moment of silence for what has happened to Mr. Simeon. This never happened to you.
Actually, they didn't succeed in taking everything. They left granite oil, they left Milo milk. You know, they took the bag of rice, took the tin tomatoes.
Okay. Anyway, they left you something. So that's, not all thieves.
They didn't have enough time to.
Okay, they didn't have enough time. I was going to say not all thieves are the worst. So apparently they are still bad guys.
You know what I believe? I actually believe they are trying to steal my car. So, but one thing with me is I don't go anywhere without a steering lock.
Fantastic.
I have a steering lock. A steering lock will not stop your car from being stolen, but it will stress whoever is trying to steal your car. So there's a higher chance of catching anybody trying to steal your car if you use a steering lock, because it will delay them. So I think they're trying to steal my car, but then they ended up since they saw a steering lock, decided to open my trunk and pick whatever was inside. Crazy. And then funny, after that, on my way home that night, I had an accident. I knocked down somebody. He had a fracture in his leg. A whole mob gathered. God just helped me that night. So, but
wait, sorry to stop you there. When you told me this, there was something that you said that made me say, no, this guy, I have to talk. This is the guy I have to put on this episode. So you were in this situation with this guy. It was late in the night. You could have just driven off. So I'm surprised. If you wanted to run away.
Well, it's not even about how fast the car is. The road was lonely. It was dark.
Exactly. So
my car is a black tinted car.
So you had everything to escape.
I could have disappeared into the night.
So what was it that? Because this is what I just want to ask you. A lot of people will say, Bishop guy, Niger guy, you suppose don't move now. Kilo share, what's wrong with you? But you made the decision to not do that. Why?
Well, in all honesty, I had a clear voice that said, you can run.
Okay, the voice said run.
The voice
just
said
go.
run. So, but the fear of God in me just didn't let me. My conscience, like, I asked myself, how can I do this to somebody and run off? Because I was at fault. It's not like the person was at fault. I was at fault. I did my best to dodge the guy, but my side mirror still took him down. So, and I was kind of moving fast. So the way he fell, if I had even driven off, I probably would have driven off with the thought that I've killed somebody. Because I don't know that he survived.
Exactly.
Or if
which
he died
is now
happened.
something worse.
I can't live with that.
You don't even, the crazy thing about it is from when you were telling me that story is that you don't even know the ripple effect of what you've done. He might not die on the spot, but he might go on to be robbed by other people because he's now in a vulnerable state.
I could have been robbed.
You could have been robbed.
Because it was dark, it was a lonely road, and you have all these, all so these street miscreants,
urchins and stuff like that.
So I just, in those few seconds, despite the fact that I know it was a devil that was telling me to run, but the fear of God in me just didn't let me. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to just stick with this, and whatever it is, I just trust God to see me through it. I came down. When I went back, I saw him on the floor. Before 1 minute, a whole crowd had gathered, but as God will have it, not one person confronted me, and we just picked the guy up, put him in my backseat, we took him to Wuse District Hospital, and then they just cleaned him up, bandaged the leg, held it in place, and all that. I didn't get home that night around 12 midnight.
So this is another crazy thing. So this same day, this is crazy again.
Yeah.
This is the same day, the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
You got your wonderful package of goodness from your office, and then some wonderful, people. Let's not call them names.
Probably needed it more than I did.
That's the way I think about this thing sometimes. Like, this person needed this thing, like, bro, whatever you need, I hope you get it.
Why is it that it's my own?
Why is it my own? I understand that one too. So I understand that one too. But now this is the thing. You got robbed the same night you're heading. No, because there's no how you get robbed. Even if they steal a pen from you, there's where you feel naked. I don't know if you get the feeling.
Yeah.
You just feel like somebody just someone just exposed me. I feel exposed, kind of. And then you're driving home. There's no how you are even normal. You're even doing your best.
Yeah.
And then somehow you hit somebody. Now you're thinking, oh God, this is just terrible. Like, why me?
In fact, I remember when I hit the guy, the first time I said this, why are bad things happening to me today? Like, what's going on? But let me say something weird or funny. Do you know that I don't know why it didn't hit me. I don't know if I was still in shock or something, but when I was robbed, it didn't really shake me like that. I was even laughing about, because I discovered in the evening. I was robbed in the afternoon, I didn't even know. Till in the evening when I was about to close for work. That was when I opened my truck, I realized that door I saw open, I was actually robbed. And I just laughed and I said, Merry Christmas, whoever took it to. He probably needed it more than I did. And my colleagues were looking like, sorry. I said, no, it's fine, don't worry, no problem. I just said, well, at least it's just rice, it's not worse than that.
And I respect that.
I was already trying to move on from that, and then another one happened. I said, God, what is it? Like, why are these things happening?
I feel like that was one of the most stoic things you could have done at that moment. Because a lot of people will go into panic mode, start swearing for somebody, start maybe saying that their own lives are cursed because something is happening to them. Because I've seen people that, something happens and they start to think, oh, is this bad omen? I shouldn't have walked past that room 13 on Friday, blah, blah, blah.
Let me tell you something. I'm a firm believer in God.
Yeah.
And if you do something bad to me, I think what my first inclination is to pray for you for mercy. Because if you touch me, you don't touch God, and anything can happen to you. So I don't need to curse you. You're already cursed. What I need to do is to plead mercy on your behalf.
Exactly.
Because if you touch me, you have touched God. That's just what I believe.
Exactly.
So that's why my first inclination is not to curse or to... Because I feel like you're already cursed. So it's for me to even pray for you.
Just like the Bible says about, I think, Abraham, right? When it talks about he who blesses you is blessed, who curses you is cursed, kind of. So, I like, because it's just like I was thinking about this, and it's like how we can't control how the universe responds to us, how things happen to us.
Yeah.
What we can control is how we react.
Exactly.
That's different between a believer and a non-believer, or someone who has God and someone who doesn't have God. Is how you react.
Yeah.
So
and how you react is very important.
How is very important.
Yeah.
So because man, let me know. Oh God, Jesus. All right.
So, and to cap it up, I ended up spending over 100K.
Sweet music
on all that. Over 100K.
The same day.
Same day.
Michael
Because
Jackson.
paying bills, by the time we got to the hospital, I was just receiving debit alerts, because they will tell you pay for this. I had to buy the guy crutches. We had to do x-ray that night. I had to go somewhere in Wuse to do. They said their x-ray machine was not working.
Why is it never working when you need it to work? That's my. I don't know.
They had to refer us to another hospital.
Doctors listening, please answer this question. Why?
Well, I don't know.
It's not really your fault.
Yeah.
It's the system is just what it is. Yeah. So it's crazy.
So money that I would really say I had, because those were monies that were meant for other things. So, but it is well. I'm still here. I survived.
So this thing, there's this saying that. First of all, I'm so sorry for what happened that night, man. That was crazy.
Yeah,
thank God that God made a way for everything to go.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, it could go worse than it went. So for what went well, we thank God.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And
there's this other saying that comes up a lot. When they say to be a man, it's like a phrase. I've seen a number of men, especially married men, older men. They'll just maybe they're working on a work day or whatever. And they just stop and say, to be a man. And I always wonder, what are these old men saying? Why are they? And then they'll be like, you don't understand. From your own perspective now, at least, I mean, your story, even though it's just one day, this is 1 day story. You lost 100K, they stole your rice. That one is just, why? You could take the rice and then still have 100K and buy rice. Right? You could do something else with the 100K.
Yeah.
But now, you spent the money, you've lost this, your state of mind is shaking for at least another couple of days.
Yeah.
Right? Even though you've paid off the stuff. I mean, man. Anyways, so this is my question to you, right? You handled your reaction very well, I must say. It's not easy to have that kind of composure.
Yeah.
So, how do you see our reaction affecting future? How do you see that difference affecting you going forward or affecting someone else?
It's one thing I've learned over the years. I have learned not to. I'm somebody that could be afraid of something happening.
Yeah.
But once the thing has happened, I'm like, okay, what's the solution? What's
damage
the way
control.
forward? That's me.
Which is basically, I think, what it means to be a man.
Because you
just deal with it.
Your panic is only going to make things worse. Any decision you make out of panic is usually going to be rubbish, and it will most likely not resolve the situation. So I've actually survived death in a similar situation. Some years back, I was in the middle of a religious crisis in Jos.
Guy, speaking of Jos,
yeah, it's
what's
been crazy.
going on now?
It is well, it's wild. It's wild. It's crazy.
Jesus,
the attacks, the rural communities.
Man, I don't even know, man. Like, if I start on that one, let's just go on.
That one is talk for another day.
On that day,
So, but
may God help those unjust now and rest the souls of those that are departed.
Amen.
Jesus.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, that particular day, I was only able to escape that place that day because I was able to keep my calm. Because everything started right in front of me. They started attacking people, started setting places on fire. I was in the market. I went to buy spare parts for a generator. And
wow.
It just started right in front of me. So I just remember that I just initially I came out of a shop and I saw like 3 people run past me, and I started running along with them. Then I stopped and I looked back and nobody was coming. So I had to now tiptoe, and I went back towards the junction, and I noticed that the thing was happening at the junction. So I just calmed down and I planned how I was going to escape that place, and luckily I was able to escape that. I came out with reverse, That was it. There was no time to turn, I entered my car.
No, I understand.
When I saw a little opening, I just came out with the reverse and that. So if I was not able to, if I had just followed those guys running, I don't know where they're running to. I don't know who is chasing them.
And you don't even know what became of them at the end of the day.
I don't know what became of them, So it's the way you handle situations when things go bad is very important. Is what will determine whether you are able to survive it or not.
At the end of the day.
So yeah. And it takes a lot of courage, actually.
So that means, in a sense, now, under this saying of to be a man, there is a sense of courage.
Yeah.
Not because you are not afraid, but in spite of the fact that you are afraid.
Yeah.
And then also there's a point of composure. The shit is going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
So, shit that hits the fan, what do you do? Reduce the setting of the fan. Fan is on 5, bring it to 1.
Yeah.
Just don't have shit flying at a higher speed. Okay? Yeah. I think that's something that people can take.
Yes. Add to that responsibility.
Responsibility.
As a man,
you have to own what is.
Yeah, a man ought to have a mindset of responsibility. So whenever things happen, your first inclination is, how do I resolve this?
Exactly.
How do I resolve it? It's a sense of responsibility. Rather than always trying to run away from things happening, you confront things that are happening. Or
trying to shift the responsibility to other people. No, it's yours.
Yeah.
You're a man, deal with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the work is preemptively anticipating an issue that it might not have come yet.
Yeah.
Just like you said, sometimes when you're afraid of something happening.
Yeah.
So what do you do while you're afraid? You prepare.
Well, you prepare. You just try and avert as much as possible. Anything that you anticipate can happen. Just have a plan. As a man, you can't not have a plan.
You can't not have a plan.
You can't.
You just can't.
You must always have a plan for everything, because funny, I think the whole world depends on us to always have a plan.
That's okay.
Everybody, the people will not have plans, but they expect you to have a plan.
They expect you to have a plan.
Yeah.
It's just like, even if you say, especially this day and age where we're trying to say, you're a man, the reality of it is that, political correctness aside, when shit hits the fan, when the chips are down, when things are redlined already, as a man, it's going to be on you to come up with a solution. I think that's why I feel like God has given us this natural, inborn responsibility to fix things, to come up with solutions, to come up with, and again, I feel like this also leads us to a point where many of us forget that there is a God that gave us this mantle, this mandate.
Yeah.
I'm using man a lot, mandate, mantle. Okay. So, but the point here I'm trying to get to is that we take on the responsibility of this mandate so much that we forget that there's something above us.
There's actually a place for God in it.
There's a place for God in it.
Yeah.
Because if you take it all to yourself,
yeah,
you get depressed, you die. You just burn out because you can't handle it.
Yeah. And to even add to that, I could tell you from personal experience that one of the main reasons why I'm able to have calmness in adversity is because I'm a man of faith. So whenever things like that are going wrong, I always believe that God is going to help me. God is going to help me resolve this. Even when I had that accident, when I wanted to run, I just told myself, I'm just going to confront this head on and trust God. So that's always a key word, trust God. You just believe that somehow you will orchestrate things to work out in your favor,
for your good,
or for your good. No matter how bad it looks, And then I trusted God, and then everything still, despite the fact that I lost money or whatever, but trust me, it could have gone worse. It could have been way worse. I could have been mobbed. I could have been robbed, But nobody was even angry with me. They were even thanking me for stopping, because they knew if I had driven off, bro, you would have been able to identify my car. Because my car is black and it was dark. You get, so
God, is this a sign for me to get a black car? God.
Are you planning to run?
No. Okay, yeah. By the way, we don't advocate running in this podcast. Okay, no running. Okay, Except you're running to God.
Exactly.
So I can run to God, no problem.
Yeah.
0 to 16 right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Another thing now, this question, under this to be a man, men, we say, okay, you're the head of the home, just like Christ, the head of the church. So many other wonderful examples of this. But as a man being the head of a home, I think first and foremost there is a responsibility on you to lead that home, to choose who is going to be in the team that you're leading.
Yeah.
Just like you're going into battle now.
Yeah.
You have a Delta 6, blah blah blah. You have to get the squad. You need a bomb expert. You need this, that, sniper, blah blah blah, reconnaissance, blah blah blah. So you have to pick out the right things. So now this is a story. I'm going to give you a story now. Yeah, a bit anonymous. This guy meets this lady, right? And so the lady is kind of shifty about where she's from, who she is, right? Initially, she has a sub story. The normal. Everybody has a sub story these days. She has a sub story. She doesn't know her parents, this and that, blah blah blah. Maybe parents they are both late, or maybe one of them is late, or something like this. Kind of stories are popular.
Yeah.
We hear this stuff, or the parents are separated, story like that.
Yeah.
And then, because the guy is like, okay, you know what? I see you're a nice person. You are being good to me. I want to take you seriously. I want to build something with you. But this one came to me, and I'm like, okay. And then the question is, I feel like, personally, I feel like there are some questions that need to be asked. There are some things that need to be considered before the guy takes the next step.
Yeah.
So let me just pose this question to you. What is something that you say to look out for if a guy wants to make this kind of decision? Like, you want to make a decision on somebody, but you don't know too much about their background, because especially in Africa here, you're not just taking somebody personally, you're taking their family as well.
Yeah.
And your family is going to meet their family, and everybody's family is going to be. What kind of questions? What kind of consideration? How do you go to God with what you know and what you don't know? What do you do?
Well, first, most importantly, you need God in this kind of situation.
Sure.
You need some kind of Google map. You need directions, and it's only the Holy Spirit that can be that Google map.
Soft.
Because if you don't have the lead, if you are not led, you are living by chance. So which means anything can happen. It's a 50-50. It's either to work in your favor.
You can enter one chance.
Do you understand? So you must be led, because most times people, no matter what people try to hide from you, if you are led, if you have the intuition of the Holy Spirit, it will be revealed to you somehow. No matter how they try to hide it, it will be revealed. So one, you need to be led about things like that. Secondly, you must look out for honesty. Whoever you are going into that kind of commitment with must show you some level of openness, some level of honesty, because you need to know what you are getting into. I think people need to allow the man to decide whether he wants to pick that battle or not. Everybody you are going to choose has a battle.
There's a battle.
You understand? So you must pick it, but be the one to pick the battle.
Choose your fights
rather than
wisely.
just go in and then discover the battle, and then discover that you are not equipped enough for the battle. Do you understand? So it's very important to for that person to have some level of disclosure.
This is what I got. This is my fight. Can you fight it with me, basically?
Exactly.
And I think also, again, because there's this thing where a lot of men complain about not having enough help.
Yeah.
You go, even when you are, apart from the married men, apart from the relationship stuff now, on a day-to-day basis, you are going through your shit, you're going through it alone.
Yeah.
There's this saying that goes on social media and stuff where they say girls have money. Even when a woman says she's broke, there's at least 100k in her account, in her piggy vest or something, right? But you as a guy, when you say you're broke, we look at you say, guy, I'm broke, this guy is gone. You better save this guy, otherwise you might not be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, now the question now is defining how to get help, or how men can help each other, help themselves, because many of the issues going on, people are trying to put on a tough face. As a man, you can't even afford to look weak for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it's scary because it's bad enough that in the outside world you can't afford to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But it's even sadder when even at home, even with your partner, your spouse, you can't afford to have a moment of vulnerability where you can be like, look, I need help. Oh, can you pray with me? Oh, can you? I need to talk to somebody. I need to do something. A lot of guys are just going through the motions, going through the heartache, the challenges. For example, now someone will not even know that something like that happened to you because I mean that your jean jacket is dope. I mean, so if you think about it,
we don't look like the battles we fight.
We don't look like the battles we fight. So how do you now, like, to another guy, or to even to yourself, to someone, to guys, to men, to people who are struggling out there that have to put on a strong face every single day? How do you still find a way to voice out, find a way to, to speak, basically to express, to seek help when things are not okay?
Yeah. So first off, I would say as men need to start building relationships or communities where they can be vulnerable with one another. There's one that I know that I've been a part of called Men Only. Right? Is run by Pastor Ocholi Okutepa. Getaway for men. They sometimes they spend a weekend, but this particular one is going to be for a whole day. I think from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Fantastic.
They're just going to spend the whole day together. They'll fellowship. They'll talk about issues that men go through. The point I'm trying to make is that we need to have more communities like that, where because men don't really because men can't afford to be just vulnerable because
just anybody.
Yeah,
because there are people that are ready. Yeah, and there are people that are. And the thing is, this thing where they say it's a man's world, it's a man's world. A man's world is a dog eat dog world. Yeah. So if you come out looking weak, there are people looking to feed on you.
Yeah.
They are looking to.
There
are people that they don't even have. I mean, it's crazy. There's a guy who the story got to me that was sexually abused by another man who he maybe confided in that this is what happened to me. That one too became another predator.
And he took advantage of it.
Yeah. I know the thing is, there are so many people who are damaged, who are victims of devices and demonic entities and whatever.
Yeah.
And the idea is you don't know who to. But I think it's really important that we have these kind of men who are thinking right, who have the right culture, the right mentality, coming together, creating safe spaces for their brothers, their friends.
Yeah.
Let's talk about stuff. Let's and if you're that person who someone is trusting with stuff, do your best to be a man of integrity, a man of honor.
Very important. To say this as a general advice to the general public, just start being benevolent towards guys.
I mean,
start being benevolent. Like, you see, guys go through a lot of things. Look,
there's so many memes on this thing.
Most guys would never open up and tell you what they are going through. But I think people should just start don't wait for a guy to ask you for something. If you have a man in your life, buy them gifts.
Just come on.
Send them, I feel like men only exist. Men only exist for people to take things from them. But we should also receive things too, Buy men gifts, send them random. Any guy you can just randomly send your account. It's not only you that they should be sending money to every time.
The funny thing is, just to add to what you said, there's this meme that it's a very simple meme. It goes, okay, they show a girl when a guy gives her a compliment, she forgets the compliment, and then they show a guy 10 years later after a girl gave him a compliment 10 years ago. You remember the girl, the time, what she was wearing, how it smelled, everything, because it's so rare.
Yeah,
it's so rare and special.
That,
So, and the funny thing is, when I think about it, is there are girls that have given me compliments. I mean, not like it happens. You get compliments and look good, look nice. That one is like normal office banter, but someone gives you a compliment like, you nice shoes, and it stays with you all your life.
Yeah.
You remember that one person that told you have a nice smile.
Yeah.
And since that day, that's been your confidence boost. You wake up in the morning, brush your hair, and you look in the mirror and be like, nice smile.
Let me tell you something funny. I'm not used to people doing things for me. So whenever somebody does something to me, like it's always like even if it's very something little, it's always a big deal to me. Like because I'm not used to people doing things for me. As a guy. So whenever somebody does something for me, like
it just won't blow.
it blows my mind. Like so somebody can actually do something for me, you know. Like, it may be something very silly or something very, you know.
Generally,
that's to how neglected men are.
Sad.
You know, so people should just be more benevolent, because you never know, that little act of kindness or benevolence that you extend to the guy may just be the one little act of love that will stop that guy from committing suicide,
bruh. And you know, okay,
there are a lot of guys that have suicide on their mind, though.
Yeah, the suicide it's not even they don't even have it on their mind. Their mind is on suicide. Now suicide did his mind, not his even mind itself, because. Guy, you know, it's crazy because people don't even realize it. Sometimes, I know that, people, they might say, bros, have fun, I don't know, because of happy weekend and all those things. But some of these guys, too, at the same time, you see, I don't know, you see a security man just sitting down, just staring into nothing.
Yeah.
Just say, bros, have fun now. You did alright.
Yeah.
Looking sharp. Just that.
Yeah.
Simple, just that comment, that, you know, that you walk into that person's office, greet them. You know, some people, like, you know, when they see somebody, when they hear sir, this thing just makes them feel, I don't do something right. At least the person they see me like I'm a human being. Yeah. Like, it's something.
Yeah.
You know, because as a guy, a lot of people, you don't get the privilege of being a Korean pop star where somebody's going to look at you and say, oh, Lomi who? And that starts smiling at you. Yeah. You know, if you're an average guy, I mean, well, even if you're less than an average guy, if you're a shy guy, you understand what it is for you to be seen.
Yeah.
I think that's something that people really want.
Yeah.
To be seen, to be heard, to be respected, to be treated with respect.
Yeah.
I think that's the bare minimum we can do for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Simeon, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
I know you have a really tight schedule, but I really appreciate you being on the podcast. God bless you.
Thank you.
You've been a blessing.
Thank you.
So, with this, I think it's a wrap. Everybody take care. Listen to what we said. Be kind. Be compassionate. Be considerate. Be cool. Subscribe for more. Peace.